This video is sponsored by Atlas VPN. Riddle me this, Batman. Why wasn't Jesus born in Spain? Because he couldn't find 3 wise men and a virgin. God damn it. What? That's just roll the intro. Hello and welcome to Spain, a country located in southern Europe which I've been talking about for the past couple of months on this channel. So if you're new, make sure to watch my other videos on the country. In the last episode of our travels to Spain, we visited the country's capital, Madrid, where we talked about its magnificent history and architecture. In today's video, we'll be heading north to yet another one of 17 autonomous regions in Spain, Castilla y Leon, as we go to our first city, Segovia. Segovia is a city located in the southern part of the region, and it is the 9th largest city within Castilla y Leon, with around 50,000 inhabitants. But even though the city might appear to be small, its offerings are anything but. Like many Spanish cities, Segovia's history dates back long before Jesus Christ was even a thing, and people pray to the sun, or terracotta statues with big titties, or whatever. The first ever settlement was founded in 700 BCE, but it only ever became relevant after 80 BCE, when every 14-year-old monarchist's favorite empire captured it, aka Rome. However, after the birth of the one whose picture shall not be shown, the Prophet Muhammad, his followers soon took over the city when the Umayyad Caliphate decided to do some trolling in Europe. This in result ended up making the city abandoned, as most of its inhabitants weren't too happy living under an empire that worshipped a slightly different sky entity. So they either packed up their bags and left, or got slaughtered. In the 11th century, the city was conquered back by King Alfonso VI and friends, and with the Reconquista, many came rushing back to settle their long-lost lands. Afterwards, the city entered the Golden Age, as it was used as the capital of Alfonso X, and was a hub for trading goods such as textiles, which lasted until the 16th century, when a little plague decided to devastate the city and keep it at bay from further glory. But you know what will never devastate Segovia? Atlas VPN. Atlas is a tool that encrypts your data and hides your virtual location. Your family escaped to Germany before the Yugoslav wars. Now it's your turn. With Atlas VPN, you can change your location at will.
Oh wow, it feels like I'm personally in Berlin after I switched my location to Germany.
Atlas VPN connects you to a VPN server, so your device is given a whole new IP and DNS address, so those pesky Hague War Tribunal judges will never be able to find you. All of the traffic is encrypted and routed towards the VPN server. When the traffic arrives at the server, the VPN server decrypts the information and allows the traffic to access the desired destination, thus giving access to media and websites of the selected location. So you can literally be anywhere and not even the Hungarian border police can stop you.
Okay, but what if I'm content staying in the Balkans? What else can I do?
When changing your location, you can also access Netflix from other countries. Have you ever wanted to watch Rick and Morty in Hungarian? With Atlas VPN, you can. You can also get better deals for airline tickets because airlines love to discriminate. What's even better is that Atlas VPN is supported on any device, and currently Atlas VPN is running a huge discount on their 3-year deal for just $1.39 a month with a 30-day money-back guarantee.
Sheesh, you kidding me? That's pretty cheap, even for Balkanoid standards.
Right? But this deal won't last for long, so make sure to check it out by clicking the link in the video description below. When entering the city, most likely the first thing you will see is the aqueduct, which is one of Europe's most well-preserved structures of its kind. It was built in the 1st century, a little bit later after Romans decided to deport Jesus back from where he came from. The aqueduct is over 28 meters tall and 14 kilometers long, and it was used all the way up to the 20th century, until us humans invented a little invention called modern plumbing. The interesting thing about it is that it is more or less made out of solid stone blocks with almost no cement. By the aqueduct you will find a small square brimming with tourists checking out the aqueduct, and Postijo del Consuel, which is an observation deck overlooking the structure and the city. West of here you will go to Medina del Campo Square, also known by the name of Plaza de Juan Bravo, or Plaza de las Sirenas, which is a small square which showcases several important buildings. Right in the middle of it, you can find the statue of Juan Bravo, who was a leader of some rebels against some king you don't really care about. By it is the Church of San Martin, a Catholic house of worship that dates back to the 12th century, after the Moors were kicked out by the Jesus Squad of Alfonso and friends. The church was built in the Romanesque style of architecture with some Mudéjar influence as well. A couple more amazing streets to the west from Juan Bravo, you will arrive at the Plaza Mayor, aka Segovia's main square, characterized by the giant Cathedral of Segovia that stands on its west, its city hall to its north, the theater of Juan Bravo to its east, and the church of San Miguel to its south. The plaza was built sometime in the 17th century and was the main meeting point of merchants. The town hall is presumed to be built around the same time and has been used for most events hosted in the town. The most dominant building of the square is none other than the previously mentioned Segovia Cathedral, which is definitely one magnificent marvel to look at. Many call it by the title of Lady of the Cathedrals due to its grandiose size and stature. The building you see today was built in the 16th century in the Gothic style of architecture, with Renaissance features here and there. Originally though, there used to be an even older cathedral here which was built way back in the 12th century, but ended up being destroyed by yet another Spanish war that most of you don't really care about either. By and large, when walking through the streets of Segovia, you will spot many, and I mean many, medieval granite structures that date back way before the Queen of England was even born. Okay, maybe she's a bit older, but still, the city is old. Walking through the streets, you will see many churches and interesting structures that it's honestly hard to remember all of their names. Because of this, the city as a whole has been put on UNESCO's World Heritage Site list, and it isn't hard to see why. Further northwest, you will finally reach the gem of Segovia, the Alcázar de Segovia. The fortress stands between the confluence of the Eresma and Clamores rivers. It is believed that this bastion of military might was built all the way back in the 12th century by the Berbers. In the 13th century, the castle had a makeover and decided to follow the 15-year-old e-girl aesthetic and became more Gothic in appearance. An interesting fact about the Alcázar is that within the structure there are several different hidden passageways that connect the castle to the river and other places found within the city's parameters. Over the years, the fortress had many different uses, as it was a royal palace, prison, artillery college, and military academy. Meanwhile, today it is used as a museum where you can find many military artifacts and other ones related to royalty, which all contributed to the building being listed as a part of UNESCO's World Heritage Sites. Moving on from Segovia, we head on north to the city of Valladolid, the capital of Castilla y Leon. The city has a population of a little less than 300,000, which is around the population of Cluj-Napoca in Romania. Like many cities within the country, Valladolid was founded way before the Romans decided to do a little trolling and conquer half of the European continent. However, the city only gained importance in the 11th century, when King Alfonso VI gave it to some nobleman as his lordship, or whatever that means. Since then, the settlement grew at a reasonable pace to what you see today. For a brief time, the city was even the capital of the country when Spain was ruled by everyone's favorite incestuous family, the Habsburgs.
We chin. Shit!
Although the city of Valladolid is quite old, many of its earlier buildings were lost in the early 19th century, when France invaded the country under the guidance of a man who was just average for his size at the time, I swear, Napoleon. Even so, there are a plethora of interesting things to see here. The first thing you might stumble upon arriving in the city is the Plaza de Zoria, which is a central square within the city. Initially, the square was called Puerta del Campo, which was a reference to the gate that was located around here, which was used as the entrance to the city between the 13th and 17th centuries. Throughout the Middle Ages, the square was used for a variety of events, such as dueling, military exhibitions, and other less violent ones, such as hosting street entertainment and games. The building that overlooks the square is the Cavalry Academy, which was built in the mid-19th century. At first it was used as a prison, however soon after its construction it was converted into a museum depicting, surprise surprise, artifacts of the Spanish cavalry. At the square you can also find the statue of José Zorrilla, who was a famous poet from the city, most famous for writing Don Juan Tenorio. Right next to the plaza lies the Campo Grande Park, which is the largest park within the city, which I'm only mentioning for one reason and one reason only, and that's it has squirrels and peacocks and other birds and critters you can feed and interact with. They're just so goddamn cute. Just 10 out of 10, great park, definitely would recommend, go and visit if you have the chance, just go. North of the square and the park you can find the Calle de Santiago, which is the main pedestrian zone of the city, known for its variety of shops and restaurants. One recognizable structure on the street would be the building of the Union and the Phoenix, which is similar to the Metropolis building in Madrid. It was built during the 1930s in the Neo-Baroque style of architecture and is mainly used for commercial purposes. Nearby is the Church of Santiago Apostol, which is a Catholic church built in the 15th century. It was built here as a way to accommodate merchants and a congregation around the main plaza, and has been here ever since. A couple of blocks north from Calle de Santiago, you will arrive at the originally named Plaza Mayor, aka Main Square. I swear, almost every Spanish city has their main square named Plaza Mayor. Come on guys, be creative. If you could conquer several ancient civilizations in the New World, I'm sure you can come up with original names for your squares. Jesus Christ. Anyways, the Plaza Mayor is one of the largest squares in the entire country. Previously to getting its unoriginal name, it was known as the Plaza del Mercado, as many guilds were located around the square and conducted their businesses within its parameters. In the mid-16th century, the entire city was burned down to a crisp by a fire caused probably by some medieval lad's flute mixtape. Because of this, the king at the time, Philippe II, rebuilt the entire city and this square as you can see today. Interestingly, the plaza here has been used as a reference for building other squares across the country, such as the one in Madrid and Salamanca. The main building on the square is the town hall, which is the seat of the government for the local city council. There you can find many buildings with colorful facades, which all just bring the square together. East of the plaza stands the Cathedral of Valladolid, aka Catedral Nuestra Señora de la Asunción, which is a magnificent 16th century church built in the Renaissance and Baroque styles of architecture. The church was planned to be the biggest cathedral in Europe, however, because Spain as well. Spain! Only around 40% of the project was finalized as the capital of the country moved from Valladolid to Madrid, and with that, so did most of the resources. Another amazing church that can be found within the city is the Church of San Pablo, which is located at the plaza with the same name. It was built in the 15th century and is most well known for its Gothic facade and numerous Gothic sculptures that decorate its interior. What's unique about this church is that it is one of the most well-preserved examples of Elizabethan Gothic style. Next to it you can also find the Church of San Benito, which was built where the old fortress used to stand, and that is visible with its design. Another amazing church would be the Santa Maria la Antigua, which is an 11th century church built in the Gothic style of architecture. Next to it stands the famous Fachada de la Universidad, which is the facade of the University of Valladolid, as it was built in the 18th century in the Baroque style of architecture. The university itself was established in the 13th century and is one of the oldest universities in the world, with its students studying a plethora of subjects, but mostly specializing in the arts. Back to the churches, Valladolid also has many more churches, much like other Spanish cities, so it would be quite difficult to name them all. However, you can still notice them when walking through the city's streets. Moving on west of the San Pablo Church, you will stumble upon the Pisuerga River that flows through the city, but you can find a lovely river walk along the Playa de las Moreras, where many Valladolidians choose to go for a swim when the weather is nice enough, alongside enjoying nature and their surroundings. When coming to Valladolid, it is also important to mention the Casa de Cervantes, which is the home of Spain's arguably most influential writer, Miguel Cervantes, best known for his novel Don Quixote, that has terrorized high school students all over the world. Don Quixote, Don Quixote. The famous writer lived here throughout the 16th and 17th century. Today, his house has become a museum commemorating Cervantes and his life. And yeah, that would be the city of Segovia and Valladolid. Two cities rich in culture and Spanish heritage. Brimming with history, they are a must-visit for anyone looking to get to know Spain a little bit better. For now, we end our adventures in the Iberian Peninsula and head back to the powder keg of Europe, the Balkans. As always, I wish to thank my channel members, especially Julian Apostases, for donating and helping me make better videos. Thank you. If you wish to become a channel member, a link for that is in the description. You've watched Living Ironically in Europe, and I'll see you next time.